Hey everybody, I'm in podcasting mode today, just wanting to tell you a little bit about episode 9 of Better World Leaders, which was a fabulous conversation with Rachel Abel. Essentially, this is all about leadership and community, and how community really is the sort of the blanket that sort of wraps around everything that we do as leaders, and through it is how we sort of extend out into the world. Here's just 5 minutes of this 45-minute long conversation, which you can find the full version of on the 4i Leadership YouTube channel, or listen in on our channel on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. I hope you enjoy.
My definition of leadership was really, really values-based and really about serving other people and what we can do to actually help our communities. And then during the exercise, you go back and you reflect on the salient moments, the salient people, the people who have impacted your leadership journey in your life. And that might be as early back as, a school teacher or a family member, all the way through your career. So the boss that you hated and never wanted to end up like, or, the boss that you just thought, wow, I'd really love to be like you one day. And what I realized was all those experiences that I'd been fortunate to have been part of, where people were very purpose and values driven in my leadership timeline, had then helped to craft my idea, my definition of leadership. Many people haven't had that opportunity or taken that time to really reflect on their leadership journey, and also to have that conversation and think through how to align themselves with their values. So it's something that some of us kind of intrinsically know, but unless you've actually been through that kind of work, you wouldn't necessarily have written it down or put it into words or kind of found a way of communicating that to other people. And so that's some of what I do now. And so when I looked back at my sort of leadership development, how pivotal that would have been actually as a woman, a young girl, to be given that kind of responsibility at a young age. And I think it's so important that we think about that, even, back when, we're in school, about making sure that as many kids as possible get given those opportunities. And especially those people who wouldn't necessarily naturally consider themselves as somebody who has the potential to be a leader, because I think, having those early experiences and building that confidence is really, really important. The way that I tend to conduct the research is I really want to come out with some practical outcomes and advice for people. So some things that can actually help them do their work better. And so I think from a leadership perspective, there's obviously a role in, the social sciences and lots of different disciplines and academic research that help to inform the community leadership space. The way that I've been working with that is I've been looking to bring together social science, community development research with psychology, sociology, and behavioral economics, and looking across all of those different areas, because traditionally we've looked at community in terms of that community sector development. And I think we need to start looking at community in a much broader way and start thinking about our own individual personal networks and communities, our, professional communities, how we go about building that to really have impact, how workplaces are communities, how businesses respond to their communities as well. So I'm, a big supporter of this concept of shared value and thinking about conscious capitalism, and how organizations can really benefit the communities. It can be a mechanism that creates shared value. And so I think, how businesses are leading can actually help to benefit their communities, rather than some of the models we've seen where it's quite a destructive relationship and people are taking from their communities. There are some models which actually promote growth for everybody and shared value for everybody. Leadership is a process. It's something that we do. It's not necessarily something that's attributed to somebody in a position. So we all can inhibit leadership. It's something that should be shared and distributed amongst a group of people. So somebody who has resources and privilege and skills should be looking at how they can enable other people to enact their leadership as well. So how we can listen better to our communities, and how we can empower people to really have their own sense of agency and ownership in their community. And whether that is in a community organisation sort of setting, or whether that's in the workplace or a school or in our own lives, I think all of those, that sort of sense of leadership for me, that's how I make that connection. And so, you know, in contemporary life, we're connected with lots of different online communities, we're connected with our workplaces, we're connected with, you know, different sorts of community, and recognizing that that is a very kind of like, you know, organic structure. It's not something that is fixed. We're not just part of, you know, this suburb or that group of people. And so recognizing that and working with that, but also like, you know, what's our role in those communities? What, as you know, as leaders, what do we want to do to move those communities forward, and how do we have that personal impact? How can somebody who has got a position of power and authority use that as a platform to be able to help other people?